Welcome back to mech200. Today we're going to sketch this guy. It's a razor holder. Sticks onto the wall. It comes apart. We'll just draw one piece of it. It has a very interesting way of making sure it's assembled correctly. We'll deal with that later, if maybe. We're interested mostly in this shape. It's a bit hard to see, so just follow along with the sketch. This is going to be a little bit more vague, less construction. You might see a ruler from time to time. We're going to try and do this without any guides or anything like that. So maybe, we'll see how it goes. So this will be kind of just trying to line things up by eye. One thing that we're interested in here is that this profile is straight through the middle and then flares out so that when things go in, it grabs them. I can even do it with my pencil here. So there's a couple of little bumps, I would say. I don't know how you'd name it, that we're going to use. You might also be able to see it says up with an arrow, which we may worry about, but it's actually an inside edge, so we may not be interested in that either. We're going to sketch it kind of like so in diametric. The plan here is to kind of draw it true shape on the top. Maybe draw it slightly off angle so we can see into it slightly. So maybe like so. And we'll have a diametric pointing down like this. Now we're going to simplify our construction quite a bit because we're going to go for a bit more of a, almost like an arty, not arty, a bit more of a sort of touchy-feely feel or approach. And I'm just kind of looking at it here. Once we've got this, we'll cross hatch it and move on like so. The idea here is to use a guide, quite a big guide. I hunted around my house here. We're going to use this. Because we're doing diametric, we can use true shape. This will be quite a large sketch. We're not going to get too carried away with the hatching later. So I'm actually going to begin here by just drawing down the circle and slightly up to the left, make sure it fits on my, it's nicely positioned on my sheet here. So find something that fits your paper. And not too worried about where the middle is. What I am going to do though, immediately, is start laying out my angles. Now, I want it to be slightly off kilter, or slightly offline. It's kind of boring to put it straight. It's also easier to sketch like this because my shoulder's this way. So I'm just going to try and put some lines across here, not very straight. Trying to get the throat, if we want to call it that, the more narrow piece. We can see here that we should be seeing this more or less the same, so we're slightly off here, so laying this in a bit better. And I'm getting a slightly curved line here, don't care. If you want, for completeness, just tidy it up a little bit. Now, that's essentially this part. Is it perfect? Don't care. This would be going to CAD eventually, so we're not going to worry too much about it. Now, I do want to be able to see this edge here, so this back end. So I'm actually going to do make sure that I can show that by mapping it down correctly. So if this is our center, or the silhouette, or like here, I'm going to see if we can get this about right. If we look at this guy, I've measured this, ruler here. It's about 3 by 2 centimeters. For us, because we're in diametric, usually you don't want to do the full depth. I'm looking at this now going, well, this is actually a better angle. Maybe we should hide the inside, I'm not sure. But if we're doing diametric, we don't want a full isometric depth going straight down. So maybe a half, so about this. So I'm just going to do this by eye. I do like this angle better. So let's go down like so. Say that's our length. There's our half length. I'm going to do that going down. So that's our depth. It's quite a deep plastic part. We will get this very small sliver, but that's okay. We'll just, it'll kind of get swallowed up by edges. I want it to be parallel. parallel, and importantly over here, parallel. Make sure we've got our mark here. And I can use this by just to slide it down like so. Right, so following down this edge here, get to about there, and get it so that I'm just drawing the visible parts, if I can get it right. Sliding around on my paper. Not too dark. This gives us a help here. We can see here we're not really parallel after all. And because we've used that rim twice, we're fairly sure we're doing okay here. Now, if we want, we can use a ruler again. It's about just under halfway down. So again, if you have a piece of scrap around, let's see if I've got one. You know, you could, for example, find the halfway point by saying, well, there's a full length. There's the half. And we're just slightly under the half, so there it is. So we know we've got the bottom of our circular hole here in the throat. At the other side, we're almost down to the bottom. So even if we're going parallel, we've got our middle. If we drew a straighter line here, we'd be able to find the middle. The middle's about here, parallel, parallel, full throat, or full depth. So we're kind of down here. So this middle point here, tidying up as we go. So this sketch is a little more loose. So here's our throat. We go, again, if we're measuring this very roughly, the throat starts blending out at the center point. So we could do a lot of construction, all the rest, but what we should probably do is just say there's the middle. So we've got our middle point. So parallel, parallel, it's the end of our throat. And from there it blends out or flares out. So we want this to go across. So again, there's our map. We've got some arcs in here. Should be tangent here, so do our best to get our curves in there. And out here, it's actually, this is circular. On this end, it's actually more straight-sided with a flattened entrance. So this will be almost parallel till we hit down here. So we can kind of map the beginnings. Right, so we've got this. Nope, that's not right. Sorry. This is our beginning. If we want to map it across, we can use our guide again. So there's our start. Sorry, drawing the wrong thing. It will actually get hidden by this edge here. Plastic, so it's rounded off edges, corners, edges, and all the rest. Up here we've got this sort of blended corner coming through. See that? Sort of flattened. So we reuse this edge to get this part here. And then we can just curve up and smoothly into a corner there. Next, reiterate this throat. We've got our lower edge. Now there is some draft here for those purist plastic people, but we're not going to worry too much about the draft. That would be a CAD dilemma. So just trying to get all of our edges correct. Janky lines there, and you're going to be able to see this corner here, top edge, which matches over to this guy. Can deal with these corners later. The only thing remaining here is to map in where this bump is. The bump is actually kind of straddling this beginning point. So parallel, that would be going down the throat. It's going to start to, it's curving here, same as this line. And our bump is on it. It's right at the top. Bend it slightly to make it look like it's going around the corner. And a little bigger. So this is being drawn without any guide really. So just do your best, fill this out. Try and step back from time to time, have a look at it. Make sure that you're looking kind of similar. So we do need some small construction here. So this will go parallel here. So it's kind of the same shape. So this line is replicated till it hits this middle throat, which then starts going down. Be able to see this coming around. So we're using some contour lines here. We can use the contour on the bump. So if you want, there's our guide. And that's a good start. So next video, we're gonna cross hatch and shade it. This time, hopefully not so crazy, because there's quite a lot of material here and it's largely not very interesting. So we're gonna focus on trying to show the roundness of the two kind of intersecting profiles. We will leave off the up and any hidden details through the plastic and just treat it as if it's a piece of white or translucent plastic. Thanks for watching so far. See you in the next video for the hatching experience.